All right, to start this video off, I want to give a big shout out and a very big thank you to Joseph and Davion, two of my, I can say, good friends that are also gamers. That Davion and both of them were thinking about me and said they woke me up with a text message saying, "Get up, work out, take a shower, and get dressed. You're coming with us." And I was like, okay. Uh, They was like, we're going to a Smash Brothers tournament, but they also do Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments at this place. So we figured it's better than being home stuck alone some days, dealing with suicide, depression, and everything. So we're taking you out. You're coming with us. You can play Yu-Gi-Oh while we do Smash Brothers. And I was like, all right, say less. So got up, did an hour workout, took a shower, got ready, and they're like, all right, we'll be on our way. We're gonna scoop you up, and we're going to Long Island, and we're gonna have fun. So it was a fucking blast. So many funny things happening along the way. Stopped by even for McDonald's and like we're ready to take our order, and the girl goes, "Oh, McDonald's?" And it was like she said it like what sounded to us like a question, like you want McDonald's, and we were at McDonald's drive-through, so we all just started bursting out laughing. It was like so many funny things. I text Davion. I told my opponent I'm gonna text somebody if that's okay. Um, I text Davion to give me water, and I didn't even see him give it to me. Like he was like a ninja. So then somebody passed by and kicked it and said, "Oh, sorry, I kicked your water by mistake." And I was like, "Water?" I'm like, I looked back, then Davion was there, and I'm like, "Oh, he put the water there, but I couldn't see it." So he didn't want to interrupt the tournament. It was just hilarious, and I was like, "All right." The Smash Brothers tournament started first, and I was like, "All right." This is like, it was so funny and weird because I'm like, to me, I like imagine throwing on a duel disc. It's like, all right, there's a tournament going on, $10 entry. I didn't even know what kind of tournament until round three when I realized they was like, oh, it's a UTS OTS tournament. So we're handing out packs. I'm like, oh, even better. But my thing was to give them the $10, enter the tournament, and see how far I can go with actual playing the deck at a tournament without fuzzy. Like fuzzy is cool. I'd rather run it at a two of, but I was running it like it's in the side deck, but I wanted to play without it because I hate restrictions. Even when I play my Arcana Knights, like I hate that they put me in a restriction when it comes to the extra deck to Light Warriors. So I'm like, I don't want to play fuzzy unless I have to. So I'm gonna see how far I get without playing fuzzy. And I did pretty good. I got sixth place. He said he did something wrong with the computer or whatever. But to tell people and everything that I got sixth place, so I was like, he has me here seventh. But the final round, he said I was supposed to be sixth place. So you can ask Davion, you can ask Joseph. If they watch this, they'll comment. I'm like, he said I got sixth place, not seventh, even though the computer say seventh. So I'm like, not bad getting sixth place with Raidraptors without, well, like playing it my way and without fuzzy. So I'm gonna get into it real fast and then I'll open up the OTS pack. But I'm like, I wanted to see and have fun. So I'm like, I wasn't keeping track of wins or losses. But at the end, I was like, yo, everybody was like, oh, you did great. We're playing Re-Raptors. And there was like another player. I did lose one game to Ubel, but I learned from it. And he was like, you should have did this and that. So like, they were cool people. And I'm gonna show my build, my extra deck, and my side deck. I was running a lot of one-ofs. So in my extra deck, and I figured with the spell card I could recycle. So that's why I put them at one. And then I was like, oh, I was in situations where I'm like, okay, I see why people play two of this card. I needed two at certain points, but I'm like, on average, once I went through the one-ofs, I used the spell card Roost or whatever it's called to recycle them and then just use them again. So let's get into this real fast. And then people were walking by like, oh, you're playing Seal? I'm like, that's crazy. You're not even from Long Island and you're over here taking souls. It was funny. So the main card I was trying to get into, the Raiders win. Then there's Tribulanius. And there's a bunch of duels where I needed a recovery play because I kept remembering the person that was trying to teach me the newer combos. I've always been a Raidraptor player, but my own way when I played it back with Dragoon and Ultimate Falcon as the final combo. But I kept remembering him saying follow plays, do this, that, and X, Y, and Z. So I was like, I use this to send. If it wasn't, if I already have the cards in the hand, I would use tribute to send this. Or it was a bunch of duels where it worked perfectly, where they negated my stuff and destroyed all my stuff, and I ended up with no one monster, and I attacked into their monster that was in attack mode. So like I took damage, but because I cleared my field, I had used this to send Bloom to the graveyard. So after he negated and destroyed everything else, and I used this to attack into his monster, I took damage. Then I used Bloom's graveyard effect since I have no monsters on the field. I could use his graveyard effect to special summon him and one other Raidraptor from graveyard, and then I went full combo. And then he couldn't out my towers, and I used the other towers that was 38 and then could attack 3 monsters. So he was playing synchro monsters. So it was just crazy. I loved it, like as a recovering play, and everything somebody always tells me or teach me, it gets stuck in my head. So it's like I wanted to see how far I could get wielding the actual deck at a tournament instead of play testing and see how far I went. So 6th place is not bad at all. Stranglanius 3, Smog 3, and then since I took out Fuzzy because I hate the restrictions, I put in 2 Vanishing Lanius, and this worked perfectly. And you know, you want to stick to the OG cards and the actual anime and stuff. So I was like, why not? Then when I brought him, they like, you play him? I'm like, yeah, it's a good one of. And then if I have another one, it's just extenders. So depending if I had this in my hand, when I went full combo, I would use the level 7 to special summon this from deck. And then since he special summoned, I could use him to special summon that. So like it all depends on what you have in your hand. And you could just extend from there. And then I was playing the one of, which worked perfectly when I brought it out with the same card. And then he would search this. This recycles the spell. So I used it perfectly because then he interrupted one combo. And I went to Satellite. And then I used this to recycle the spell. And then I played the spell again. He's like, oh, that's not a once per turn. I was like, nope. I used the spell to turn Satellite into Ultimate Falcon. So I still have a material under it. And go from there. The one Foolish. 2 Shadow's Kari. This was great. Just setting up stuff. It's like so perfect. Roost, the one Roost, like I said. I used a lot of extra deck cards that were one ofs, even though everybody else was playing them at least 2 ofs. And then the way I saw it, just put them back, recycle, draw a card, and then I can use the Exceed again. And then, you know, when you do your combos, if you're watching this, if you know how the Raidraptors work, you just know how they work. So then I was using 1 Skip Force, and when it recycles, Skip Force is not once per turn, so I will use him to, if I went into Satellite Cannon off of the level 7, the rank 7, then I will use him to recycle. So it's like, even though they might have, let's say, negated the card that bring them out, at least I do this. And one person was like, you can't do that. Ultimate Falcon's 11. I'm like, no, he's not. Satellite's 8. Ultimate Falcon's 10. This adds 2. So he's like, oh yeah, sorry, I can't count. 1. So I cut the other one. I was running 2, but I cut the 1 to 1. And I put rank up Soul Save Force. And there was a bunch of times they couldn't out both of my towers because the other one was too strong. And they were out Ultimate Falcon. So then, since Ultimate Falcon's in the graveyard, I used this, and I will use this to bring back Ultimate Falcon, even though it's not unaffected. It's unaffected by cards while it's on the field. But when you're playing this, you're bringing it from graveyard, and then you special summoning 2 ranks higher. So then I'll go into the 12 one. And they was like, oh, nobody's playing that at all. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to play like everybody else. I want to play different. So I'm like, and they're like, oh, that's a way to shortcut into the other one. And then since Ultimate Falcon is a material for the Final Fortress, it's unaffected. So it's another towers that's 38. And then he had 2 big monsters on the field that was 35 and another 35 defense. I'm like, attack with Final Fortress with 1, activate effect. It's still unaffected, but it can destroy a monster and banish a Raidraptor monster from graveyard, and then attack again. And you could do up to twice per turn. So I used Final Fortress to attack 1 monster. He took damage. Banish a Raidraptor from grave. Attack his other 35. Banish another Raidraptor from grave. And then I attacked him directly for 38. Because when Ultimate when Final Fortress destroys a monster by battle, you can banish a Raidraptor for it to attack again. And you can do it up to twice per turn. So I attacked both monsters, clearing the board. They were both 35, and then I attacked directly for 38. So I'm like, I love just playing stuff my way. And then the one off of this, and I use this mainly if I went full combo on their turn. I will pop. I'll end up with 4 negates, but I'll use the 4001 to pop, and then since I'll activate it with tricks on the field, the Link monster, I would have it set this, and since if I had the extenders that went into the XYZ dragon, then I'll use this to go into Requiem. So then it's another negate. I have both traps, and then I would, if I had other traps like Imperm, Ash, or whatever, that's just 4 more negates. It's like I have 4 negates total off of generic combos, and then the pop interruption and stuff. So one glorious sprite, and I decided to put in the Raiders one. So like there was times at the tournament where I already had this set up, so this will search one of them, and then if I went combo going into this one, I would just banish it to search the other one, because you can search a Raidraptor's card. So I would use this to search this, and then if I didn't have it already, and then he can search this and so forth. And that's it for the Raidraptor stuff. Basically, more than half the deck. And then this card worked perfectly in most of the duels. In one duel, I tried to draw, but I didn't draw no dark monster. So 3 Allure of Darkness. They're all darks, and the same guy who was teaching me how to play with the updated cards, I'm like, it's perfect with this card, because then you can, let's say you already have this, you can play Allure of Darkness, draw 2, banish 1, and it's not a once per turn. So the guy said, he's like, that's crazy that the whole deck is mainly dark, and you're playing this. And then when he saw when I did it with this, I'm like, you drew 7 cards, because it's draw 2, banish 1 Raidraptor. Draw 2, banish another Raidraptor. So that's 4 cards you drew. Draw another 2. That's 6 cards you drew. Banish another Raidraptor. Activate effect. Put all 3 banished Raidraptors to the bottom of your deck. Draw 1 more. So I drew 7 cards. And it works steadily, except that one duel where I didn't have nothing and Ultimate Falcon on the field. And I'm like, let me just try to play Lure of Darkness. And then I drew Ash and some other card. I'm like, oh, my whole hand goes to garbage. And we just kept slow playing. So it was funny. So 3 Allure of Darkness with Roost is just busted. 3 Ash. I was playing 3 Imperm, or I wanted to, and 2 Forbidden. But I figured since the deck already searches 2 negates, I'll take one of each of these out. And then this was a board breaker that helped me win one of the games. And then one person, I played Imperm. Like normally, let's say you play this by itself, you would have negated just 1 card. And if you play this, you would have sent this to negate 1 card. So what I did was I played Imperm from hand to negate one of their monsters. And since it didn't do nothing, I played Forbidden Droplet to send this card to the graveyard and negate their other card. So it's like I got a 2 card negate special off of 1 card, kind of. Because then this negated 1, like I said, and then this sent this to the graveyard to negate the other one. You know, instead of like playing Forbidden Droplet and you send 1 card to negate. But like I said, I cut both of these down to 2 since I was playing 2 of their own negates. These were just extra in hand if I drew them. And yeah, that's where I put the other negate card of their own that I could search. Extra deck, 2 Rising, 1 Ultimate. This helped me win 2 duels. And I love it. No matter what you bring it out with, like I showed you before, as long as it has a Raidraptor as material, that's an Exceed monster. If this card has a Raidraptor Exceed monster as material, it is unaffected by other card effects. Then it's attacking 3 times, up to 3 times on monsters, or at least 2 monsters, and directly for the third one is you have to destroy a monster, banish a card. It's not detaching to activate that. You're just banishing the Raidraptor from graveyard. So it's still a towers at 38. Banish, destroy 1 monster. It can attack again since you banished the card. Banish the second one, attack the second monster, and then it can make another attack, and then you just banish the third card. Then its actual effect would be to detach and put everything banished back to the graveyard. I was playing 1 Force Tricks, but there was times I'm like, oh, I could use a second one, but if I had Roost, I recycled it anyways. 1 Brave Tricks, 1 Arsenal, 1 Satellite Cannon, and there was times I did this off of this, and then they got rid of this, and then I just recycled the spell since this is an 8, and used the spell to transform Satellite into a Raidraptor Ultimate Falcon. 1 Raiders Knight, same thing. I played that as a 1-up because I could recycle it with the spell. 1 Arc Rebellion Dragon. If I had extenders, since I wasn't locked under Fuzzy or anything, I would go into Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. And then on their turn, when I activate the spell to bring out the big boss, it activates on their turn to pop everything. Then that activates the Link Monster's effect. So I'll set the Link Monster, turning this one into Dark Requiem. And then this is another negate. And I still have my 2 trap negates since it popped. And it's basically just adding another negate on field. And then the 2 Force Tricks. And this came out useful since it was just Dark Monsters I was locked into. So SP Little Knight. And there was a time I had the rank up spell and an extra monster and Ultimate Falcon on the field. So then I summoned the extra monster. Hold on. I was talking about this card. And I had 1 other Raidraptor monster. So I would summon the Raidraptor monster and link it away with Ultimate Falcon to go into Little Knight. And so then I get a banish on field. And then they have 1 monster which I could OTK with. And I used this card, paid half my light points to bring back Ultimate Falcon and turn it into Satellite. So it was like it worked perfectly how I wanted it to. And, 6th place shows for itself. But I wanted to take the deck to see how far I can go with the idea. And they were playing Smash Brothers, so I was like, all right, they're playing Smash Brothers. I get a whole bunch of people I don't know, so I can play Yu-Gi-Oh! And not feel bad with beating them, because I hate beating my friends. But either way, the extra deck, I was just running 3, and this threw them off too when I sided it in. Then if I were like, all right, I need more extenders, but I hate being locked in, but then I would side these in game 2 or 3. And I'll take out certain cards. I never sided this in. I sided these in, but I never saw them. The other Imperm, the other Droplet. Depending on the lineup of what I was playing, I would put more of these in, or specifically this one. I never sided these in, because it's like, I want to go Droplet over this, because at least with this, if I can negate their field, and even if Bloom's in the graveyard with another card, then I could just bring them back, go full combo, and since I negated all their effects, I can pop all of them, and then the big monster would just burn them, and for game, and if that wasn't game, it would attack directly for game. And then the last 2 cards are Exceed monsters, so I was like, if I needed it, I will side in a second Tricks Force. I never did, and I still won. And another Brave Tricks. I don't know. I wanted to have 2. And I never sided these in. I never sided these in at all. So I was playing and did great with it at 1. And these were just my side deck. But I'm still working on what I want to do and how I want to do things. So, yeah. Oh, I'll open up the pack real fast. Got Cornell, Cyanide Mining, and this card. Unchained Soul. I think this is a new one. Raidraptor call. That's funny. I'm gonna read it after I press stop on the video. But yeah, 6th place is not bad for playing it my way. I feel like that's too far away. If you like, go from there. And I still want to learn more and play it my way so I could be not like everybody else. Hope you love what you play and play what you love, and hope everybody's doing great. So today was an epic day. Thank you so much, Davion and Joseph. I love you guys.